hostile crowd. When he came to the ring, when he walked to the ring first, I was sitting waiting to come out at the back. I was like, fuck, it's electric. Like drums, screaming, like 7,800 people in this amphitheater thing. It's loud. When I came to the ring, it was just booing. I remember, I'll never forget, I walked out. As I walked through, there was a little kid, like maybe, I'd say younger than 10. He looked at me and went, I was like, fuck. Well, it's on now.
Yeah. What's happening, guys? Today I'm joined by a special guest, someone I've been trying to get on for a long time, and I feel very fortunate to be able to get him on. So, professional boxer, IBO Cruiserweight, world champion, paramedic, chopper pilot, Under Armour athlete. I mean, the man's done many things. He's been Ed Sheeran's bodyguard. Kevin, bro, thank you so much for coming on.
It's only my pleasure. Sorry it's taken so long.
No, bro, no stress.
You know what it's like with the hustle, up and down, meetings, training, but it's great to be here, and thanks for having me on your show. It's been a long time coming, and thanks for having me.
Great, bro. And I mean, it's almost a perfect time. You're having a fight literally next month.
Yeah,
July, 17th of July, right?
Yes,
in Belgium.
In Belgium, yeah.
How's that preparation been?
Yeah, look, and obviously we upped the training camp now. We've got the next 11 weeks are going to be hard. But that's what I'm used to. That's what I'm accustomed to. And, yeah, it's perfect timing. So a lot of the media hype now around the fight. Like tomorrow, we've got the whole of SABC Super Sports stuff to get out the way, your podcast now. So it's just fallen in the right place. My birthday yesterday, signed the fight. The fight was announced. Thank you. It's big now. We have to win. We have to deliver. And going into the fight always as the challenger, always keeping an underdog mentality. And we will be victorious, but it's not going to be easy. But no road to the top is easy. So let's go out there and do what we do best. But right now, let's just enjoy this chat.
Yeah, and Ryan Murray. How do you
Ryan Murray.
Murray. So it's kind of like Murray.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. So where's he from?
So I think he lives in Belgium, originally from Ivory Coast. And I think he's got French descent as well. But he lives out there in Europe. I think his fight record is 29-1. So 29 wins as a professional, 1 loss. And he's only lost to Gulamarian, who I believe is my biggest danger in the cruiserweight division in terms of us guys are in the top 5 in the world.
So you don't see Ryan as a danger?
No, of course. He's a big fighter. He got stopped in the later rounds against Gulamarian. He's a strong fighter. His record of 29 wins and 24 knockouts in those 29 wins is a lot for itself, but I'm a smart fighter. I know what I have to do to win, and I know what it takes. But no, like I said, no road to the top is easy, but we know what we have to do to win. So as my opponents get better, I believe so does my level, and so do I rise. So it's going to be a tough challenge, but it's great to fight for the WBA world title. So 2 belts on the line, my IBO, his WBA world title, and it's the first time since 1985 that a South African cruiserweight has fought for the WBA world title. So I'm happy to make history again.
Sure, that's credible. And cruiserweight, could you fight in a different? Is it difficult for you to cut weight and make the weight? Because you're a big guy.
Yeah, it is. Yes, it's very challenging. I must be honest. Probably the hardest part of making cruiserweight is the discipline of dieting and training differently. But I think I've got it waxed. I think I do it well. There was a new weight division that came out, the WBC Bridgerweight division, which was from 91 to 101. And I'm rated 3 in that. 2 in the world in that. But the division hasn't got the legs that it needs. And I believe it was a bold decision to stay in cruiserweight, where I've worked so hard to achieve my name in boxing, to achieve international status and world recognition. So now it's time to do everything that I can in cruiserweight, and the next step will then be heavyweight. It's simple as that. You can't go up to heavyweight. Well, you can, but you want to go up with notoriety. You want to go up with a name. You want to go up with a share price.
Yeah,
and I think that's the most important thing. So right now, I must clean up the cruiserweight division as best as I can, and then look to see what the future holds.
So what's your walking around weight?
I walk around probably, to be honest, at about 105, 106. And that's just me walking around. When I'm hard in camp, I think I can get my weight down to like 101. But then obviously by altering my diet, I want to be I know Josh mentioned when we look at being at like 95 before we leave, 94 before we leave. So yeah, Peter, also my head trainer, my boxing trainer, knows I'm very disciplined when it comes to dieting, when it comes to putting in the work. So he sees me 5 to 6 times a week, 2 hours a day that I do my boxing, and everything else I do on the side. And when I say on the side, your conditioning, your nutrition, your running, that's up to me. And that's where discipline comes in. And, you know, to be the best, you got to kind of put in a little bit extra because everybody's doing it. You know, everybody wants to know, how do you be the best? What do you do to be the best? It's not that hard in the sense of everyone's got this philosophy of work hard, work hard, work hard. Man, everybody works hard. Everybody works hard. You work hard. The guy in the gym, when you're training, he's working as hard as you, maybe even harder. But what are you doing that's different? That's for me to know, you know? That's what I do that's different, that the other guys do, that the other guys don't do. And in boxing, obviously, skill sets, skills pay the bills, and that's what wins the fights. But like I said, it's a big fight for me. I'm excited. I haven't been this hungry for a fight since probably when I fought for the IBO World title in 2017, 9th of September 2017, I think it was. When I won the IBO World title, I was hungry because I was so nervous. Never thought I could do it. It's the big time now against the guy that has extreme KO power back then. He won Fight of the Year against Dorticus, a big name. And I was so nervous, but I believed in myself. I truly did. And I knew that I had to win that fight in order to grow and to become a brand and to become something in boxing. And we took him to school and we won. And the sky's been the limit, but it hasn't been an easy road. And we just got to keep working hard and stay humble and true to the grind and respect all fighters. Like I said, you said, is Rahad Murray an easy fight? In my mind, yes, he is, because at any given time, he's not going to beat me. However, he commands a respect because he's got 29 fights, 1 loss. He's a WBA world champion. So he's got 30 fights, 29 wins, 1 loss. He's a world champion. When a world champion walks into the room of any gym, it commands respect. You got to respect that man. He's worked hard to get there. Very few can achieve that, you know. So I respect him a lot in terms of what he's achieved. But this is the fight game, and if you don't think you can beat everyone, what are you doing it for? You know, you got to stay true to yourself. You can't be delusional, but you got to say to yourself, you worked this hard. I'm rubbing shoulders with the best in the world now. Let's go.
Bro, speaking of doing things that not everyone knows about, I mean, okay, most people know that you are obviously a paramedic as well.
Yeah.
You know, that's obviously, you're not just a boxer. You have a lot of things that you do. I mean, just getting your hours to be a pilot.
Sure.
You know, what made you get into being a paramedic?
You know what? It's something, so there's stuff I'm involved in now, businesses that I'm involved in that take the security aspect and the paramedic aspect, and we bring it all together, and we're going to start something really big and really huge. That if it takes off, it's going to be great. Well, not if, it's when it takes off, it's going to be great. So I always had the will to want to become a paramedic or AEA to help people, you know, because it's something I've wanted to do. And just because you're a professional fighter, and in some people's eyes you're a celebrity or you're a sportsman that people look up to, that's great. But you're actually just a normal person. So what are you going to do to fulfill yourself? I got fulfillment out of that. It made me enjoy myself. It made me put life in perspective. That's what it did. It made me go, shit, real stuff happens in the world that a lot of people don't see. And I want to acquire the skills to help people that are suffering, people that are, you know, in that time of need, look at you to help them and your colleagues. And it's really awesome. So I've got a great relationship with EmergiMed. It's phenomenal. You know, all the work I do for them is ad hoc. You know, I do it when I go out on the road, it's for my own time. And now we're going to build a business together in terms of security and medical together. So it's going to be great. And then back to your question about becoming a chopper pilot. It's a goal I wanted to achieve. I said, I want to become a pilot probably 10, 15 years ago. But obviously I never had the means to. It's quite an expensive course syllabus to do. It's not cheap. But by boxing and achieving in the boxing world and working hard in my brand and staying true to myself and my grind, I managed to pay for the training school to become a pilot. You know, I managed to do that. And it was a goal. And just because now I'm a professional boxer, I still had other goals. So I said, listen, work hard. Boxing's my bread and butter. Boxing's giving me the name. Boxing's allowed me to get into this position. Boxing allowed me to be able to follow my dream to become a pilot. So I did my PPL. And I think I did it relatively quick. Quicker than I think most people. I think I did it in about 4 months. So I smashed 8 subjects out the way, and then the 50 hours of flying time. I flew about 3-4 times a week, to be honest. Got my PPL, and then I was like, well, what's next? Commercial. So I'm busy with those exams now. I've done 3 commercial exams. I've got another 6 more to go. And then I'll probably become a commercial pilot. But it's not to say there's Kevin Lerena is going to go fly for a company and be a pilot. No, it's just it's what I've wanted to achieve deep down. It's something that I wanted to achieve.
And in terms of a commercial pilot, you may not be, I don't know, maybe you can tell me the difference. Is it, as a commercial pilot, are you allowed to take, even obviously not paying people, but family members and stuff?
As a pilot, no, I can take family. As a PPL, you got a PPL, it's a private pilot license, which basically allows you to take family and friends wherever you want to go, anytime, hire and fly, but you just can't charge. For example, if you want to fly to Sun City, I can't charge you.
Okay.
I'm not getting remunerated to fly people
So
around.
you can, that's basically the only difference there.
Yeah, in commercial pilot, obviously the hours and experience,
you need more.
Oh, for sure. Big respect to all pilots out there. It's not easy. It's not easy at all. It takes a lot of courage, wisdom, and a lot of hours. The biggest thing is hours and building up the experience. So I'm far off from any top pilots in the country, far off, but willing to learn. Any opportunity I get to fly, I'm there. So it's really great.
Yeah. And then the security aspect, was that something you're always involved in while you were doing boxing, or was it maybe kind of amalgamated together? You saw, okay, I love boxing, let's do security, or was it vice versa?
A bit of both. So well put, if you look at it that way, it's a bit of both. I try to use the boxing aspect to branch off a bit of security stuff, and it helped a lot. But before, boxing really went well, because let's be honest, your first 10 to 15, maybe call it 10 boxing fights as a professional, money shit. There's no money. There truly is no money. If you don't have sponsors, you're working a job, you're either a personal trainer or you're a boxing coach or you hustling. I was the hustling aspect. So what did I do? Any money I made, I went and did a CPO course. I worked at a nightclub called the VIP Room for Chris Kotrulis as a bouncer. And then I'd go to boxing gym in the morning, and in the afternoon I'd train clients at Sean Smith's gym. 3 jobs. Just to try make ends meet. Not just ends meet, but to make money to pay for my goals. And then I went and did certain courses. I went and did a course at ESA in Europe, which is a very cool private military contractor course. And then I did a CPO course, And then obviously did some ad hoc work for CPO companies within South Africa and looked after some stars, and that came in and they enjoyed the way I worked and built relationships with those people and the owners of those companies. And that's how we got the Ed Sheeran gig. I looked after him at Global Citizen. He was very happy, and he said, I want you to look after me for my tour when I come to SA next year, that was 2019. I said, cool, done deal, did it for him, It's all about networking, and that's where I think boxing plays an important role, Being a professional boxer doesn't make you a good CPO. Being a good CPO doesn't make you a good fighter. It's just about networking and knowing the job at hand, but giving an offering of service, give that service, show people you're interested, because it does need to come together. Because when the day you hang up your gloves, where to? A lot of a lot of sportsmen, yes, there's lots that can go on and make great money, just like money that they maybe don't need to work. But there's a handful that do okay in their careers, and the day their careers end, they go, shit, what now? I never wanted to ever be in that position. So that's why I acquired so many skills. And still to this day, I'm working on projects. Got a big project that's launching on the 28th of May. Now, that's a passion of mine because it's something I've always wanted to do. So it involves security, it involves helicopters, and it involves the paramedic stuff as well. But by acquiring the security contacts and in studying for stuff and becoming a pilot, you understand the industries, and then you're able to start a business and see where there's opportunity. And that's how my mind's always worked, And obviously boxing's it's first priority right now. You never let that slide. So right now it's like preparing for the fight. But the day the fight's over and I'm the WBA world champion, I'm going to have 3 months off. So I must focus on business, because in 3-4 years' time when I hang up my gloves, things must be running for me. And that's just the way I've been and what I've wanted to do, and just staying true to myself. I try not to do what some people do on social media and is tell a lie. Pretty much what you see on social media is what you get. What you see is what you get with me. You see me flying helicopters because I fly helicopters. You see me training in the morning or doing conditioning, it's because I'm a professional boxer. You see me working a CPO gig, it's fine. It's because I'm a CPO, and it's gonna benefit me one day when I'm finished boxing, you know. So that's why I just put what's true to myself there on social media, and there's no fronting, you know. Just be honest and true to yourself, and I think that's what people need to do more of and appreciate.
And you said 3 to 4 years. Is that like the time limit you've given yourself?
Yeah, there's lots I want to achieve in boxing, just like obviously becoming a multiple weight division champion, and there's only one weight division above cruiserweight, and that's heavyweight. I'm not talking about South Africa, we're talking about international now, you know, world level. I want to become, the unified IBO Cruiserweight champion. I want to go up to heavyweight and have a crack at the biggest heavyweight belts, have the biggest paydays, roll the dice, win, lose or draw. You've done it. No one can take that away from you. And that's what I want to do. And then the day that comes to an end, probably the day that I finish boxing. I don't want to finish boxing as a journeyman. I feel a lot of guys are, coming to fight for money. It's never been about money for me. Never. Yes, as you go on in your career, you're going to earn more money because your share price goes up and you hold value. But it's never fought for a payday. I've never gone into the ring saying, I need to fight for this fight purse. No. Because then you're doing it for the wrong reason. Or that's how I saw it, you know. I did it because I got children. You know, I want to put bread on the table for them for a very long time. I want to give them the best possible childhood, to bring up the best kids. You know, when I say the best kids, with manners, respect, and just give them not things that I didn't have, because my mom was a single mom, so I got manners. I went to a great school. I went to a good institution that taught me manners. But I want to just make sure that I bring up respectable, good kids and give them every opportunity that they deserve, and not opportunities that I didn't have, because who knows what the future holds. Maybe there's opportunities I can't give them. But just, looking back at, wow, how did I get this far? It's kids. I've got kids. I've got no man sitting across me, no task, no goal is going to take the food off the table of my children. That's how I see it, truly speaking. I don't go, shit, I need to take this fight, I need the cash. No. Then you're doing it for the wrong reason. And never, ever have I said that. When I signed my first world title fight in 2017, Pete said to me, listen, Kev, it's a must win. This is the purse. I said, let's go. Let's go. Doesn't matter about the purse. Let's go. Even this fight now, I'm the challenger. For the first time in 7 years, I'm on a winning streak for 7 years, right? But for the first time since 2017, I'm the challenger. So I saw my fight purse. I said, let's go. Other guys were, no, this is a massive fight. I want double, triple, because that's how people think, you know. I went, looked at Peter, I said, let's go. You know why? Because I know I'm not fighting for money. I'm fighting for the cause that I know that I started with when I started boxing, what I want to do, what I want to achieve. That everything else will come with it. When you're the unified champion, you say how much you want to fight for. You write your check. But let's get there. You know what I mean? Let's get there. And that's just been my mentality, to be honest, the whole time. No, not one of like I said, I don't bullshit. I say it how it is. You know, I've always been like that, and that's just what it's about for me. So, just bring everything together and staying busy. My mind doesn't stop. You know, I think it's a good thing and a bad thing, because I sometimes have to switch off, like really switch off some stuff and concentrate. But I think it has its pros too, because you have the ability to set up something for yourself in the future.
And in terms of people chasing a payday, I actually saw you obviously made that Instagram post about that Jake Paul and Ben Askren fight. So obviously you were obviously very pro Jake, but I mean, and Ben was very open that he did it for the payday.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I wouldn't say I was pro Jake. I just think he trained right for the fight. I know he's trained well, very well, BJ Flores, and he trained right. He trained like a pro. He deserved the victory. Jake Paul's not going to, I don't believe, to be honest, that he's going to go beat a B-level cruiserweight in the world. No. But he's used his platform, his views, his people. He's brought attention and interest into boxing, and he's making crazy money. I respect that because, hey, it's business, right? You do business. You want to do well. I respect you for that, because you're stepping out there and you're doing what you want to do. So I respect him for that, and I respect the way he respected the sport of boxing. Ben Askren's a former UFC champion. why I said he disrespected the UFC fighters. I know some UFC fighters. I know Don. I know Boyd, who's a UFC champion, fighting UFC. These guys work hard, man. These guys work really hard to be at the top. They truly do. And they also command and demand the respect that they deserve. And I feel Ben Askren didn't go into this fight serious. I didn't think Ben Askren would win. Not for 1 minute. Can I tell you why? Yes, we know he's a wrestler. That's his specialty. But if you watch him, he didn't train seriously. He didn't take the fight seriously. And that's why I say he disrespected the sport of MMA. Because MMA fighters and wrestlers are great athletes, phenomenal athletes. But he got asked, and it doesn't matter which way you look at it, he got knocked out. I don't care what anyone says, he got knocked out.
But if you see also the way his footwork and everything, how he fell, you could see it was a genuine fall.
No, he got hit hard. No, there's no doubt there. I promise you, he got hit hard. Listen, he's not a boxer. That's why I just say, like, maybe Jake Paul picked the right opponent in the sense of he knows he can't fight another YouTuber anymore. So who do I pick from a combat sport that's not going to be a threat? So maybe Ben Askren was the right pick. But then prepare for the fight, Ben. That's all I think.
Just looking at those photos of the weigh-in, you can see he didn't prepare. He looked terrible.
He was a former UFC champion, and he's an Olympian. I think an Olympic wrestler, if I'm not mistaken. Come on, you know what professional sports. But yes, he came for the payday in the sense of he knew he was going to make huge money. I respect that, but what about the other MMA community who maybe fight for $40,000 or $50,000? Champions fight for $200,000, I think. So I'm not talking about the Connors and I'm talking about the normal the other guys. You know what I mean? The purses are public. These guys are real fighters. They put their heart into the sport of MMA, and I feel that guy just disrespected them a little bit. But hey, it is what it is. He got paid. He's smiling. He doesn't give a shit, like he said. But that was my view on it. So Jake Paul did do it right. He trains twice a day. He's got a good boxing coach, and he really works hard. So where he goes with it, who knows? Who knows where he's going to go with it? But every time he fights or does what he does on YouTube or whatever, Instagram, gets views, gets mileage, then gets money. So that's his way of making a living. You know, is he a pugilist specialist? No, he'll get asked by any of the top 20 cruiserweights in the world. But he's doing what he needs to do against who he needs to fight against. So you got to respect that. You know, he's doing it, and he's bringing attention to boxing.
That is the benefits, obviously. All the
and maybe people who've never watched boxing, who never would have watched boxing, are now interested. I see it a lot. So many times daily, I get DMs and comments. Fight Jake Paul, by random little kids, boys, girls. Like, he's a name, and they associate the weight divisions, you know, with the names. But hey, respect him for what he's doing, because it wasn't easy to get there. I mean, you know what it's about in terms of not social media, but media itself. It's hard. I think anything in life is hard. So he's got there. He's worked hard to be where he is. Let him now reap the rewards.
Actually, I was watching a video of Peter put up on Instagram where he was saying that he was talking about Jake and everything, and he said, I was on YouTube, and he said, you must go up against him. Like, obviously those kids want that, but I mean, it'll be a stupid fight for you at the end of the day.
No, it wouldn't make sense for me. The only way it would make sense is I'd get paid a lot of money.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, there's probably going to be some clause or something where he needs to win, and he needs to give. I think probably there was something where they were like, Jake has to win this fight because he's bringing in the views. He's bringing in way more than Ben was. And how do you feel like that whole Thriller event where, you know, Justin Bieber performs, and it was actually more of a music concert than it was about a boxing exhibition?
That's exactly what it is. I think that was more of it was a Showtime performance kind of thing. That's what it was. It was like a Super Bowl halftime show.
And do you think that takes away from the beauty of boxing, or?
It takes away from the beauty of boxing in terms of the fights. If you look at like top level fighters in the world, like the blood sport, the combat side, the fighting side, like Arturo Gatti, those warriors, and Floyd, who's a pugilist specialist, Mike Tyson, they got true crowds, true following, you know, in terms of boxing. So it does take away from that action. You know, yes, he knocked the guy out. People want to see knockouts. Listen, knockouts sell tickets. That's what put bums in seats, you know. But it does take away from the purist, the pugilistic art of boxing. It takes away from that a little bit, but I respect him because he's doing it right. He really is. So I think he's had 3 fights now, whatever it is. And what he's earning for his third fight, some people don't earn in a lifetime. you know. But that's because he was smart in what he did. And I've spoken to BJ. He does work hard. The kid works hard. He does.
Well, I mean, you can also see he has improved in like the last 3 years of training as a professional. I mean, it doesn't look like he looks a lot better than some people who've been training for a lot longer.
He looks a lot better than some pros.
Yeah. And I mean,
I'm being honest.
So maybe he deserves the pro
For
status.
Sure. 100%. Listen, it takes, I've seen guys who turn pro who shouldn't have been given a license. So he deserves the status of being a professional, and he commands respect because he's stepping through those ropes. Regardless, I say it, you can be a guy. I actually told one of the guys in our gym, he was fighting a guy who had like 9 fights and I think 6 losses. I said, listen, man, respect that man. He's stepping through the ropes. You got to. There's that day that guy's showing up to win. He's tired of losing. You know what I mean?
Not everyone goes through every fight winning.
No,
he could,
don't.
after his 7th loss, then become the great fighter he was always going to be.
There's a lot of fighters who've lost and gone on to become a big name. I've lost. I lost on points in 2014. I avenged that loss, but I've gone on from that loss. You know what I mean? A loss doesn't define you. It either can make you or break you. It breaks some people. But I believe it made me in a sense of I learned a lot. I took a lot of lessons out of it. And I said, losing shit. I don't want to lose again. And I knew what I had to do to change that, But yeah, like I said, Jake Paul, does he deserve the professional status? Most definitely. He's working like a pro, working harder than some pros, and he's generating income. He's generating revenue, putting asses in seats. That's what professionals do. It's a Showtime business. That's what we do.
And now, how was it working with Ed Sheeran? How was that whole experience of, how did you get the call? How did you?
So a company that from South Africa asked me to look after him for Global Citizen. And there's a lot of artists here for Global Citizen in 2018. I think it was Beyonce, yes. Jay-Z, Pharrell, what's his name? Pharrell. There's a lot of those guys, the guy from Coldplay, Chris Martin or whatever it is, and Ed, and listen, a lot of people. And I was assigned to look after him. They asked me, would you be interested? Because one of their top CPOs couldn't do it. I said, oh, most definitely I will do it. And I looked after him. We were at the West Cliff for 3 days, and we just struck up a good relationship, a good bond. And he said, listen, man, when he's head security all over the world. He's Kevin, a guy called Kevin Myers. And he said, listen, when we come back in March, we want you to do our full tour with us here. I said, cool, no problem. Sounds good. I said, I just understand I do have a fight on the 19th of March, 2019. So I'll make myself available 3 days later when you land. He says, no, it's awesome. Anyway, cut a long story short, I had the fight. It was my first fight after one of my shoulder ops. I knocked out Arthur Mann. I retained my IBO world title. And 3 days later, I was looking after Ed. He got off the plane. So at Tambo, they bring them through like a private section. So they're not really, that's public. They bring them just through some back doors and that, so they're not recognizing that. And I saw him. I said, how's it? He says, hey man, good fight, well done, I watched. I was like, really? He says, yeah, it was on Box Nation. It's a channel in the UK. I said, oh, awesome, man, cool. Then we just spoke. Like literally, I was like, I'm doing a job here. There's 4 other bodyguards, but this guy's he's having a conversation with me. Am I overstepping the boundaries? But he's talking to me and he's asking me about boxing. And the first thing he said, listen, man, when we get back to the hotel, can you arrange some gloves and pads? I'm going to train this week that I'm here with you. I was like, cool, no problem. And that's how the relationship grew. We talk today all the time on email. And just the most humble, successful musician, I think, in the world. Because I've seen a lot of them, like a Global Citizen, arrogant people, entitled. He's so humble. It's actually scary. Like, he's so humble. Doesn't want the limelight, doesn't want, the fuss about them, doesn't give a shit about wardrobe, dress or that. Wakes up, does his thing in the day, goes to the show at night. Chills in his room, green room kind of thing, and on the show performs, puts on a superb show for 2 hours, heads back to the hotel room and watches a movie with his friends.
Sure.
That's it.
And in terms of the security, did you ever find like people were trying to get to him or?
No, just super fans, Like no threats or anything, but super fans. Super fans.
Like what were these super fans? Was there any occasion where you had to like?
No, never. You obviously try to be, you want to always remain friendly and do everything with a smile on your face. You don't want to be that person who's pushing kids off.
Yeah.
And remember, those people make him who he is.
Yeah, of course.
Those people make him who he is. And he doesn't mind that, but he'll say, listen, guys, straight after this, I'm heading to the car straight away. No photos, please. No, because it gets draining. So he's well ahead. And if a lot of people are approaching, I have one look at him and he'll just be like, that's cool. You know what I mean? And then, you let the people in. So there's super fans out there, people camping outside of the hotel. People see him and they faint.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. But he's a superstar.
Yeah.
And the way he's remained so humble, it's phenomenal. And that's something I respect. And he respects boxing. He's a big boxing fan. So that's how we struck up a good relationship, I mean, he was meant to have a tour now in 2021. And he asked me back then, would you be interested in coming with me on my world tour?
Sure.
So, I mean, it didn't happen now because of COVID. But it just shows you, if he takes a liking to someone and they're just normal people. They want genuine people. They want people around them who are hungry. I asked him a lot of questions like, what is your opinion on this, that? And he spoke openly and honestly. In return, I helped him with a bit of boxing training.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
But I just opened myself up to him. It's like, what do I do, in this type of career with boxing? And he just said, just keep winning boxing fights. I just got to keep making record albums and then I'll keep doing well. Yeah. The minute I stop doing that, well, what else after that? But he said, you just got to keep winning. So it makes sense, right? Keep doing what you're good at and everything else will follow. He's got to keep making smash hits and everything else will follow.
And I know obviously you're insecure and everything. This latest video, the CIT heist, and you can see the composure in that guy. And obviously you would have experience in that, or no, maybe not in that particular situation, but experience in high stress situations like that.
So remember I told you in 28th of May we were launching something? That's what we're launching. So that company, I'm not going to give names, and that individual, know them well, and that's our business partners. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, it's crazy. Leo's the boss, man.
And
Leo's the boss.
What sort of experiences do you have? Because people see him.
Big experience. He's a Taki, ex-task force member. That says a lot. That says a lot for itself,
Yeah.
South African task force. He's a firearm instructor. Phenomenal. He did so well. And you got a lot of people who are keyboard warriors. He should have done this. He should have done that. Shut up. Can you say that on this thing?
Yeah.
Okay,
of course. Bro, this is unfiltered, bro. You can say whatever.
It's like, shut the fuck up, man.
Whatever you're happy to say, say
I was
it.
like, some people negative. How can you be negative about what that man did? And then some people going, yo, the guy Lloyd, his name's Lloyd, sitting next to him, he didn't know what to do. Oh, listen, when you got 8 guys raining down 7.62 rounds at you with an AK-47, let me see how you do.
I watched the YouTube video and seeing the comments of people tuning the passenger. How?
Exactly.
I don't understand how.
Exactly.
What must he's not in control.
Exactly. It was his 3rd day on the job.
Your shame.
3rd day on the job.
Baptism by fire.
That's why he was working with Leo, because Leo was wanting to make sure he's good and sharp, And what a person to work with.
Yeah.
I mean, Leo's phenomenal. I've got heaps of respect for Leo. But yeah, I just don't respect the people who are like, should have done this, should have done that. Why didn't he do this? Why didn't he do that? Listen to me. Drive down Baz Nadir. I'm going to have 6 guys waiting and start shooting AK-47 rounds at you. Let me know how you do.
Yeah.
If you come out alive, you've done well. You've done well.
And it was phenomenal, just his driving, the capability of...
And they tried to swap him twice. And no, it was crazy. It was crazy. I know Brad very well. So Brad, the owner of that company. And I don't know how the video went viral, because obviously I saw the photos. Well, we part of the group, and we saw the photos. The dad happened, like, shit, well, another one, because I think about a month ago there was one before that. And Brad and Wayne, who are involved, they are doing a great job because their cars are armored. A lot of these escorting companies' cars aren't. Essentially, that's what saved their lives, and he's phenomenal driving. But it's just crazy. This is South Africa. People don't understand when you explain to international people, this is what we have to do. This is why you're paying so much for security. They don't get it. And then you see that video and then they're like, shit, nowhere in the world does this happen. I promise you. Not many places.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And like people like that, the people that were shooting at him, how much of it is planned? Is it inside jobs?
Look, it's hard to say. I mean, you got to really look from maybe incoming cargo right through the system. You got to look at everything. I mean, I presume a lot of it can be inside jobs and tip-offs, but you don't know from where or from what. From the actual service provider, from the cell phone company, from the people who know that company was going to take it on that day. You never know. I mean, there's definitely a leak somewhere because they know what they're going for. Cell phones are the thing at the moment. You know, if you look at 300 iPhone 12s, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
They call it 20 grand a phone, right? It's a lot of money.
And in terms of like the oaks that are trying to attack, are they relatively well trained usually in these situations, or are they just guys that try to take opportunities?
They fire to kill. They really do fire to kill. I think some of them are very well trained, ex-military backgrounds from various countries and organizations. But they know what they're doing. You have the ones that don't know what they're doing and the ones that do know what they're doing. And it makes it hard for the police. But I know like the police and top security companies are doing everything they can to fight, to combat this type of level of crime. It's not easy. Look at the amount of CRTs happening all the time. We see it. We do see it. With this thing that we launch on the 28th of May, we're going to try and make a difference to the outcome of these things. You know, I don't want to give off too much, but you'll see when we launch it, you'll understand, you'll think about this conversation, and we want to try and make it a better to catch them. Not going to stop them, better to catch them or deter them.
Yeah.
You know? So it's going to be great what we're launching, but unfortunately this is South Africa and this is happening on a daily basis. People are getting shot, people are getting injured. Leo and Lloyd were fortunate enough to walk away unharmed, but thanks to Leo. And you know, everyone's like, I know it just bothers me. I don't understand people. It's like, let's say you're doing a podcast. I don't understand why anybody could be negative towards your podcast. I'm not saying people are. I'm just saying, why? The man's doing what he's passionate about and he's doing his best to do well. Why do you have to hate? But it's a human element.
Yeah.
So hate is a certain amount of people that they cannot wish people well. They always know better. They really do. You got to block those people out, because if you look at the negative comments, it can drive you mad. As a professional boxer, as a bodybuilder, whatever it is. You know, I think bodybuilding is maybe a bit different. They maybe don't get as much negative comments. But like as a fighter, yes, you can get trash talk broken if you look at your Instagram.
Everybody who watches boxing is a professional fighter. So
you can get trolled so badly. You know, you just got to ignore it.
But that's just so people watch something and they think they know better. I mean, people watch your fight and they think, oh, you should have done this, you should have done that. I mean, you put yourself in that situation, you would have been knocked down the first second.
Yeah, and everyone knows better. Yeah. But you got to appreciate those people, because sometimes I look at it and I'm like, it's actually delusional. Yeah. They really are, but you got to laugh it off and know how to channel that energy, because it's negative energy, but use it for you, use it as turn it into positive energy for yourself. But look at these comments. Some people saying, I should have done this. Listen, man, it ends right there. He did what he did. He did extremely well. Top operators will know how well he did. You negative people must shut the fuck up.
Yeah, it was literally like a movie. He stopped the car, he opened the door.
He went back for them.
Yeah, exactly. That was, I mean, watching that, it was honestly entertaining the same way a movie, action
Jumped
sequences.
Jumped out the car, seatbelt off, ready to engage.
Did he ever get them?
No.
Okay.
But ready to engage, they got away.
Oh.
And they knew they were messing with the wrong oak there. But if you look at it, I respect that man. You know why? Not because of how he's trained or his task force background. He's a good guy, one. And two, he didn't want to be this famous in terms of going viral. I can say that now. He was on day on the job. The video leaked, it went viral. It's probably in hindsight, it's not great for him. It's not. You know what I mean? These CRTs, these guys have big syndicates. They look at all this stuff. Yeah. But at the end of the day, he did well. He did what he had to do. And kudos to him. Nobody could have done better.
Yeah.
You got out of there alive. You walked away alive, you've done well. If you've walked away alive, you've done well in that situation. Think about it, Jess. Like, if you get shot at with a 9mm and you walk away alive, you've done well.
Yeah.
So anybody can be negative about it. It's just negative and hating on someone because they just can't live a minute in his shoes. And that's the bottom line. Anything in life.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's usually the people that spew hate and the people that, are negative towards other people. It's those people that maybe don't have something to work towards. It's those people that haven't achieved something, that did take discipline and did take hard work. It's those people that, prefer to point the finger than maybe I'm the problem. Maybe I'm actually the issue. Why do I feel the need to tell Kevin that he should have ducked at this point? Like, there's no need for that, and there's no benefit in kind of putting that out there into society.
Sure. Yeah, just I feel people just want to be heard because they're not heard in reality. So they want to be heard on other platforms in other ways. But there's a place for those people in the world, and you just got to let them be.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, no matter what anybody says to you, no matter what negative comments anybody can say about you or about me or about anybody that you know, at the end of the month, they're not paying your bills. So it's irrelevant.
Except if you're Jake Paul, because all the hate pays his bills.
But even, asses in seats in boxing.
Yeah.
Pays bills,
Even
right?
if they're paying to watch you lose, they're still paying and you're still getting their money.
Correct. That's why I said, people can hate. When I went and fought in Germany in 2020, beginning of last year, just before COVID hit, defending my world title there, 7,000 people sold out. I think there was 30 people shouting for me.
Sure.
We turned the crowd around.
Was that because the person you're going against was from Germany?
Yeah. Hostile crowd. When he came to the ring, when he walked to the ring first, I was sitting waiting to come out at the back. I was like, fuck, it's electric. Like drums, screaming, like 7,800 people in this amphitheater thing. It's loud. When I came to the ring, I was just booing. I remember, I'll never forget, I walked out. As I walked through, there was a little kid, like maybe, I'd say younger than 10. He looked at me and went, I was like, fuck. Well, it's on now.
Yeah.
But had a fight. They were cheering their man on, jeering me, fucked him up. And afterwards, I sat there for 4 hours taking photos.
Okay.
It's just sport.
Yeah.
You can't use it as a negative, but it's amazing because South Africa doesn't have that. That's what we lack. Patriotic fans, that's what we lack.
Yeah. Definitely.
That's what we lack across the board.
Even rugby now.
Yeah, everyone knows better. That ain't shit. Listen, man, he's not shit. You've never been there. Keep quiet.
Yeah.
Watch the sport. Support or don't support. Support the All Blacks if you want, or support South Africa. But we are not a patriotic nation. UK, London, have you seen when they fight there? That's support, man. That's Europe. That's support. South
Why
Africa,
do you think that is?
I don't know.
Because of so much segregation and just everybody hating on some other people.
I don't know. I don't know what causes that. I don't know. There shouldn't be segregation. We're way past that now.
Yeah.
We're way past that. We're a rainbow nation, and there's still the support in sports lacking. It really is.
There's like support in one day. We win the Rugby World Cup. There's support. Everyone loves each other. The next day, no one cares about each other.
Exactly. It's just like, let's say, for example, boxing. You fight at Emperors, right? Let's say you sell out 2,000 tickets because that's what it can hold, okay? You're making your money really from TV,
Yeah.
Because, yes, you can go to the Dome. You can sell out the Dome on a super mega fight. You can sell it out, right? I believe I would. But the true reality of it is, why can't we sell out Ellis Park? All these other fighters in the world sell out Wembley, the Cardiff Millennium Stadium or whatever it is. We can't sell out, well, we can sell out Empress Palace, but it's just, and still people still moan about the ticket prices. Like let's say, for example, front row seats at a fight, 1,000 Rand a ticket. Okay, it's a lot of money. It is a lot of money. Front row seats at Wembley, 1,500 pounds. Not front row, like in the front. If you ride in the front, you're paying big money.
Yeah.
If you're up at the top there, by where the pigeons sit, you're going to pay £100.
It's like our front row seats.
Correct. So it's just like, yes, currencies are different, but people don't support that. Rather watch at home on TV or be like, nah, I don't want to go there. We lack that patriotic support. South Africa is fighting for the world title or defending or get behind your countrymen. Yet there's still a lot of people who would hate, but there's still people who wouldn't care or wouldn't support. The Boks playing a team. So yes, it can sell out, but a lot of the time, look at our provincial rugby. Lions, Sharks, Bulls. Have you seen the stadiums prior to COVID?
Still pretty dead.
Dismal.
Yeah.
Dismal. The support that there was is not there. And I don't know if it's what we're doing as a country or I don't know. But
I think maybe as South Africans, we kind of, every bit of money I have, I'm just going to hold on to.
Sure.
I'll buy the things I want, but I won't, it's kind of trying to select, okay, well, if it's 1,000 rand for a ticket, I'll pay 1,000 rand DSTV a month. I'd rather just watch the game there. And then it's also, people in South Africa, obviously we're having less money. Then they think I have to Uber there, or I have to drive there, I have to pay for parking, I have to do all that. And then that's why the economy also stays stagnant. Whereas overseas, people do Uber, people do drive, people do go to the concession stands and buy all their food. And then the economy obviously rises because everybody's being supported and the wealth kind of distributes. Where in South Africa, it's maybe just, what's mine is mine, I'm going to hold on to it.
Which is also kind of understandable because the economic climate of the country is in a bad way. I mean, the whole world, the economy is not in a good space, but more so now than before. But 3 years ago, come on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's understandable what you're saying. We got to think about tomorrow and the days after that. But I'm just talking about support. Think about ignore the fans in the stadiums. Ignore that. Let's just think about the support. For let's say you had to put up a poll of 100 votes. Let's say 60 are positive. Those 40 that are negative are probably fellow countrymen.
Yeah.
Why? I'm not saying me. I'm just trying to give an example. I see it. I look from afar. If you look at top sportsmen from the country in the comment sections, you see a lot of negativity from people. These are guys representing the country. They need support. Yes, constructive criticism, 100%. You're not going to make a super athlete if you keep telling him how great he is and blowing smoke up his ass. You're not going to make a superstar. But constructive criticism, not vindictive people with malicious comments. That's uncalled for, and I think the whole world has that. But as South Africans, we need to support our people, whether it's wrestling, rugby, boxing, CrossFit, I don't know, weightlifting. Support our athletes. It's hard out there. It's hard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you yourself, do you just ignore it, or do you kind of respond in a good manner, or how do you deal with it?
I don't respond unless it's personal. If someone gets personal, then I do what I need to do, but I don't respond. I don't have Facebook, so I just got Instagram and Twitter.
Yeah.
And comment section's open for whatever people think. Anything negative stays there. Anything negative that's rude and shit, I just delete the comment because it's negativity.
Yeah.
Positive, man. I'm all about living a positive, healthy mindset life kind of thing. Just anything that's negative. You keep seeing negative comments daily, it's going to make you negative.
Yeah, 100%.
Make you question yourself. Just about positive. And like I say, constructive criticism is not malicious comments.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, Jess, listen, maybe for your show, why don't you try this? Because this, you'll be like, yeah, because of this, Kev, it didn't work, or I'm going to give it a go. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
It's not like, Jesse, your show's shit. It's fucking pathetic.
Yeah. I think it's also...
See what I'm saying? Some people will say that.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, hey, Jesse, why don't you try this? It's a constructive comment.
Yeah.
And you can be like, because of this, I can't try it. Or, thank you, bro, I will try that. Instead of me going, nah, this is not the case. I'm just saying, Jesse's show's shit. Or Peter Smith's a shit coach. Josh is a shit conditioning coach. Nah, shit. Peter's shit. That's what people do.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, hey, why don't you try this? Why don't you try that? Hey, in your next fight, try do this. I think it will work for you. Instead of being like an arsehole. There's no other word to describe it. But that's how people are.
Yeah.
So I'm just all for constructive criticism. I just don't like negative comments and negative people. I truly don't. There's no place for them in my life. I don't like anyone who's negative. It's not near my space, man.
You don't need that.
No.
You mentioned earlier, with your kids and, fighting for them. I see often you do a little bit of training with your kids, have a little fun with them. You got a son and a daughter, huh?
Yes.
Will you raise them, expose...
And another one on the way.
Congrats.
Yeah, thank you.
So will you raise them in terms of, take them to boxing training, or how, for you yourself, how do you want to, introduce them into the sport?
So obviously my son, he enjoys it. When I'm not hectic in training camp and his school's not up and down, I bring him to the boxing gym. He trains with Keaton, who's one of the professionals at Peter's gym, and he loves it. He enjoys it. I'll never encourage him to fight. I'll never want to make a bully of a child. I just want to give confidence and discipline. That's all I want him to achieve. So even if he goes to a teller, who's a grappling coach and wrestling, I'd love him to do that, because it's all. I want him to learn all forms of fighting, not to be this superstar fighter or if he does become that, well, cool.
Great. Yeah.
I want him to have discipline. I want him to understand the respect for another man, for a woman, you know? And then for my daughter, she's a live wire. She keeps me on my toes. She just loves doing so many things, very athletic, you know. I'm divorced to the mom of those kids, but we got a great relationship in the sense of our kids are first all the time. There's no bad blood. There's no malicious intent, you know. So that's what's the most important thing. I've got 2 children from a lady, and we're going to bring them up as best as we can for as long as we're here on earth. You know what I mean? And that's the most important thing for me. So whether he comes to boxing, he loves it. If he goes on to become a fighter, that's cool. If he steps out of the line and starts bullying people, your answer to me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't ever want that. I'll never encourage that. I just want a boy who's never going to be walked over, a daughter who's never going to be walked over, but kids with respect. That's it.
When did you get introduced into boxing?
About 16 years old, 15, 16. So my brother used to train with a boxing trainer early in the morning, so from 5 to 6:30. And then I started going with him every morning before school. So I went to a school, King Edward School in Joburg, and every morning I'd wake up and go with my brother to boxing from 5 to 6 or 5:30 to 6:30, and then head home, shower, and head up to school. The bug bit. I enjoyed it. And you know, when you're those ages, 16, 17, 18, you're strong, you're into the gym, you're playing rugby, then you learn how to box and you like fighting. Then I turned pro at 18, and here we sit now.
Sure.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you look back in your career and be like, I should have done this differently, or obviously everything happens for a reason. Everything has led you to where you are now.
Sure.
But is there any decision of a fight you'd be like, maybe I shouldn't have taken that, or maybe I should have taken this?
Yeah, most definitely. I have a lot of learning curves that I experienced and speed bumps and mountains. And if I had to summarize some of them up, so example, my loss, should never have lost, but I did lose because I didn't have the right game plan, and I realized that from that loss how important game plans are and different training methods. And then also if you look at, is it a regret? Yes, because on your record forever, for eternity, there's that one. I think I'm 27-1, 27 wins, 1 loss. It's there forever. I avenged the loss. I knocked the guy out 3 or 4 fights later. I stopped him. He was on his back. But he beat me on points a year before, or whatever, 2 years before. I was young in my career though, so a lot of people don't know I had no amateur fights. I'm where I am right now thanks to my boxing trainer and my athletic ability. I'm a world champion, but I had no amateur fights. So Peter really took me from grassroots level, and we fought through the professional ranks. So I probably needed that loss in terms of understanding the sport of boxing. But it's there forever, so it's a regret.
And that decision to not really have amateur fights, was it an opportunity to have a professional fight, or was it kind of a conscious decision where we're like, let's not?
No, it was a fact of I went to 1 or 2 or 3 weigh-ins. So how the amateurs work, you go for weigh-ins in the morning of the fights or the tournaments, and they try and match you. But there was never someone in my weight. So at that time I was maybe 84, 85, and the guys that were in my weight had a large amounts of experience. So the amateur boards won't match those fights. I went to 2 or 3 weigh-ins, not getting any fight, stuff it. Just trained with Peter hard, grounded with all the pros as a professional, and then I turned pro after 1 year of training. And yeah.
How do you turn pro like that? Because if
So
you
I
don't
had to
have
have special sparring. So when there was licensing and that, I had to have sparring, and then the BSA officials came to watch me spar. I think I sparred for 40 seconds. They're like, he's got his license.
Okay.
So good and bad in a way.
Yeah.
They're like, sweet.
And that obviously doesn't, I can assume, doesn't happen often.
No, it doesn't happen often. I think I'm not sure how the licensing system works. And I think if you come through the amateur pedigree, it's pretty straightforward. You get your license as a pro. I'm not sure for the guys who haven't had any amateur experience. I'm not sure right now. I mean, that was 10 years ago.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. But that's pretty much how, and that's where I am now. Through life, learning, lessons.
The grind.
Winning fights, the grind, the true grind, not the bullshit one.
Yeah.
You know? The true grind of life. And hey,
bro,
I
want to say good luck for the 17th. We're all rooting for you. When do you fly through to Belgium? How far before the fight?
We're going to have to find out, because I'm not sure what's happening with COVID and the quarantines and stuff like that. So I'd like to go 10 to 14 days before. if COVID allows, maybe 8 to 10 days before. But if we have to quarantine, we'll probably head off to Europe, call it the first week of July, and then finish the training camp there, and then go to war.
Awesome, bro. Well, all the best.
Look after yourself, Jess, and thanks for having me.
Of
Sorry
course.
it's taken so long.
No, bro, it's great. Thank you very much.
Sweet, brother.
Sweet, guys. Cheers.